Thank you for joining us for another Patreon exclusive episode of Pops. If you're watching this, we really want to thank you because you've supported our efforts to continue to bring you quality discussion about films and series that have had a huge impact on us in some way, shape, or form. Joining me today are my co-hosts, Ben and Tanya. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm doing pretty well.
Hello, good. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing all right. Anything new going on with you guys?
I got some awesome news from my daughter earlier this week.
All right, what's up?
She not only got accepted into her first choice for graduate school, but she was awarded a full ride scholarship. Everything is paid for, and in fact, they're paying her a stipend. So they're paying her to be her student through grad school. And I am a little bit over the moon right now. I'm just happy.
That's fantastic, Ben.
That is awesome. Tanya, what's going on
Round
in your
of
world?
applause. That's amazing.
What's going on in your world, Tanya?
Not much. Nothing. Just working, trying to, be domestic now that I have a home and a yard to take care of, trying to figure out what that looks like and figuring out the rest of my life without parents for the first time. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I feel like all things considered, I'm in a pretty good place. So.
Oh my, are you out
Yeah.
there with the mower and the hedge trimmers and all that?
I am. I actually just mowed the lawn 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
So yes.
So
You can
I'll
hire me. I'll be
apologize.
your gardener. It'll be good.
I'll apologize to our Patreon subscribers a little bit. We've got a little bit of a delay here, but we're going to go ahead and plug through this because we've already put off this recording now, I don't know, 3 times due to headphone issues. I'm sure you can tell. And so we're going to kind of just go forward here. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on with me. Went to Hawaii, which was freaking awesome. Was snorkeling, sailing, drank a lot of really cool drinks. Wore a Hawaiian shirt, um, because that's not something I normally did.
Pictures. I
And
want pictures.
there are plenty of pictures. When we got back,
Excellent.
went to Windsor, and in Windsor, hung out, played board games a lot at a timeshare, and then we decided to go to the Redwoods, which was amazing. Got pictures of that as well. And just last night, actually, I did an all-nighter, and we went crabbing, and brought back a whole bunch of crabs for the family. So I'm super stoked for that. It's going to be
Neat.
a big crab fest here at the old Hendricks Baki household. So there you go.
Yay.
Wish you guys were closer. I'd say come on over. Actually, Ben, you probably could get out here for it.
I can come up. Pardon me a second. I can head on up there for some crabs.
All right. And we got a lotion
And
for afterwards.
Also to visit with. Wow. Okay. So I'll come up for the crabs.
There you go.
Yeah. Forget about the visiting now.
Easy now. Anyway, I guess we should probably segue into what we're going to talk about. I wanted to, on a quick note here, before we start talking about our subject film, I wanted to say that there's a passing of an actor who was in sort of a rival film at the time of Top Gun called Iron Eagle. It was an Air Force version of Top Gun, only they did the dumb kid can fly a jet fighter thing, which was kind of stupid. It's mostly regarded as schlock, but his performance, Louis Gossett Jr.'s performance as Cappy, was phenomenal. So I just thought it'd be a good thing to acknowledge that he just passed. He was in An Officer and a Gentleman, Roots, and one of my favorite kind of 80s science fiction type films, Enemy Mine. Great film. Yeah, he was all dressed in alien prosthetics. And I guess that would be it leads into one of our other film thing or other things that we've wanted to do at the top 5 films that are so bad they're good. But yeah. Anyway, so Louis Gossett Jr. We'll put up a little. And let's talk about Top Gun Maverick. Now, of course, this is our Patreon. We're reviewing newer films, so we don't really want to spoil the film. Although I think we're inevitably going to have a couple of little spoilers because, I could have done without that for this film. uh, let's get your initial impressions of what you guys thought of this film. Ben, why don't you start us off and let us know what you felt about Top Gun Maverick?
All right. Well, thank you, Daniel. I actually think it's probably a good thing for me to start it off. I didn't really love it.
Oh, wow.
And the reason is because, with the exception of 5 minutes, I had already seen it.
That was one of my critiques, actually. I think I know where you're going with this.
I saw it in
1977.
I saw it in 1977.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in 1985, or was it 86?
One of those.
When the original Top Gun came out.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it a couple months before that, when Iron Eagle came out. And then I have also seen it in Black Hawk Down and Behind Enemy Lines.
Yeah, fair enough.
But there was once, however, there were magnificent flight scenes that did not utilize the typical and phenomenally annoying theory of camera shake makes everything more dramatic and makes the danger seem closer and more real. No, camera shake means that I can't see a damn thing. They did not do that in this film. They kept everything nice and clean. You could see everything that was going on during the flight scenes. They were magnificent.
We very much disagree on the camera shake thing. I like that because it adds that sense of motion to things that gives it that sense of danger, I feel. If you've ever been in a plane with turbulence, you absolutely know what that shake is, and it, to me, that creates that but that's me.
You like the camera shake? We can no longer be friends.
All right, man. Get your things.
Womp womp. And that's fine. That's what this is all about. These are our opinions.
Right. Our friendship's not really ending, people. We're just playing.
Yeah. I did, however, deeply enjoy the reunion scene between.
Okay.
It was.
There's a guy I'm going to bleep out that actual name because that is a pretty big spoiler.
Okay. Between Agamemnon and Quetzalcoatl.
I'm going to mention something that's a pretty big spoiler, but I don't think it's avoidable because it's what leads off the film, and it doesn't spoil the film, but it certainly spoils one moment in the film. And I think that it's one of those things I definitely want to address because it is I could have done without that moment in this film. But before we get to that, I'm really interested to hear what Tanya felt about this film, because I have a feeling it's maybe different from what you and I have thought about this film. So take it away, Tanya.
I have a feeling that it is going to be different from what you guys thought about the film. I'm going to begin by saying that I don't think there is another movie in existence that gives me more cognitive dissonance than this movie.
Wow.
On the one hand, it is a blatant propagandized commercial for the Navy and for Lockheed Martin, which I will get into later because that is important and I do want to discuss that further. But by the same token, I love aviation. I love air shows. Like, I go to airports to have lunch just to watch the planes fly. Like, I love planes and flight, and this movie was full on air porn, like airplane porn in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And it was. And I gotta say, I liked the rehashing of the old movie. It was Top Gun just redone with a different storyline plopped on top of it. And I actually really, really freaking liked it. So I am all over the place with this film. I am cynical about it, and I also loved it. So that's where I stand.
Okay, so we agree
Very
a little bit
fair.
more than I thought, because I do absolutely concur with you that, well, I concur with the flying porn. Absolutely. It is,
Yes.
it's a beautifully shot film. And I was very impressed with the homage to the original film, which to me, that combination of high octane action, and the engaging characters, to me, what I could look at this film and say, oh God, this is terrible. This is absolutely some films that I've seen before, namely Star Wars. You know, uh, hey, blind. Anyway, I'm not going to give away what they do, but if you've seen Star Wars, you've seen this film. Um, anyway, for me, it was what made this film work was the interpersonal relationships in the film. They harken back to the original and pay homage to the first film, which I thought was really good because I honestly felt I liked this film better than the first film, if you can imagine that.
I agree. I did too.
I love the fact that you're dealing with a broken main character as opposed to this guy who's so cocky full of himself that he thinks he can do no wrong. It's the complete opposite. Here's a guy who's broken and who is trying to repair the damage he's done in his life, and or at least trying to maybe not repair it, but at least live with it. And it starts off with him, risking his life to test planes. And this is where my biggest problem with this film came in. And in fact, Neil deGrasse Tyson stepped in on this little point that I'm going to make here. And I apologize if you don't want a spoiler. You can fast forward probably about, I don't know, a minute and a half as I tell this, because I feel this is really important. In the very beginning of the film, Tom Cruise is testing a plane and he's trying to take it over Mach 10. And of course, he hits Mach 10.5 and the plane is falling apart and he's got to eject. The physics of that are impossible, absolutely impossible. And I'm shocked that they kept it in. I guess maybe they thought nobody would care. But I'll give you Neil deGrasse Tyson's own words on this subject. In a tweet, he said, "Late to the party here. But in this year's Top Gun movie, Tom Cruise's character Maverick ejects from a hypersonic plane at Mach 10.5 before it crashed. He survived with no injuries. At that speed, his body would splatter like a chainmail glove swatting a worm. Just saying."
Womp womp.
Physics, folks. Physics. Yeah, and very much a want for me. I remember watching that going, oh, come on. Fortunately, the rest of the film sort of saved that. And the introduction to certain characters and the remembrance of certain characters, which I will not name, that pop up in the film. It is wonderful.
You bleeped me out.
I bleeped you. But again, I also gave people the opportunity to ignore what I just said. I'll actually bookmark it too, so they can get around it if they don't want that spoiler.
Oh, sure. They have the option to listen to you. I see how this goes.
Well, they have the option to listen to you too. I guess I could do that for you too, but we didn't warn them. You just said it.
I'm just busting your chops. It's all good.
Yeah, they're four now.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Ben.
Did that with the power of my mind.
So with that said, since this is not a spoilery show, this is our Patreon exclusive. We're not going to say much more about the film, but we are going to give you our pops. And Ben, why don't you lead us off with how many pops you give Top Gun Maverick?
Top Gun Maverick. This may be the lowest pop count I have given so far to anything not on our top 5 most hated films. And this simply goes back to rewatchability. For me, because I feel I have already seen almost every bit of this movie. I don't really need to watch it again. However, this movie is very pretty. It has a lot of excitement. And as Daniel and Tanya both said, it is a loving homage to the original. I give it 3 pops.
That's actually better than I thought you were going to go. So yeah, that's actually good.
I'm not here to slam the film. It just
well,
it wasn't one of my faves.
You could, if you don't like a film. I mean, you're not obliged to say, oh well, I'm going to give this film 4 pops just because I want to make it feel bad.
Oh, I get that. I get that. If we do one that I feel really negatively towards, I will be honest about that.
We might do Gattaca next year, maybe. So Tanya, it's up to you. What rating do you give to, say, the old Top Gun Maverick?
Wow. So this, I mean, based upon what I've already said, I don't think this will come as a surprise. I give it 5 pops. I really enjoyed the crap out of this movie. I feel like Tom Cruise is kind of, I'm not like a super Tom Cruise fan. Like, I don't fan people, celebrities, just in general. It's not my jam. But I feel like he is the modern equivalent to like a Cary Grant or somebody, that old Hollywood sort of vibe who just has that charisma and does that thing. Like, he is that person to me. I think he exemplifies that more than anyone else. Great role. I love that he reprised it. I loved the acting. I felt like Jennifer Connelly was the perfect counterpoint for him. I loved the casting of Rooster. Oh, fun fact. Bob, the character Bob, is played by Bill Pullman's son.
Oh,
which is adorable. Like, you can totally see in his face. Like, I was looking at him and I was like, why does he look so familiar? And then at the end, like, his last name was Pullman. And I was like, wait a minute. And so I Googled it and it's his son. I thought that was really cool.
I'm glad you looked into it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I loved, I love the planes. I loved the addition of the Mustang. The flight footage was phenomenal. The end, and this is not a spoiler, but the end maneuver that one of the enemy planes does in like the final scene, I believe it's called the Quacher's Bell maneuver. That's like that super cool thing that plane does. Oh my God. The first time I saw that movie, I literally screamed, and we had to rewind it like multiple times so I could watch it over and over and over again because it was so freaking awesome. But yeah, I really liked this movie. I did. No apologies.
You shouldn't have to apologize.
None necessary.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant review of the film. I was highly entertained watching this film. I watched it with my girlfriend and her daughter and her son-in-law, and we all loved it. All of us loved it. They actually watched the first one before watching this, so they were even more invested in what was happening. I also have to agree with you on Tom Cruise. He does things that nobody else can do, and he's played a wide variety of roles extremely successfully. Everything from a vampire to a bartender to, a guy who
to a homesteader.
Yeah, exactly. Or to a skeezy producer in Tropic Thunder.
I love that character.
The guy's got incredible range for as limited as you think he would be. And I always think to myself, yeah, well, I don't really like Tom Cruise. He's a hotshot, and then I realized, actually, I really do like Tom Cruise. I've loved a lot of the movies he's been in. That said, Kelly McGillis didn't make this film. And the reason is because freaking Tom Cruise doesn't age. I mean, have you noticed this? This guy does not age at all. He's like the Dick Clark.
That's a fact. I was going to say jokingly, is he a nephew of Dick Clark or something?
And it's interesting too, because if you look at Kelly McGillis today, she unfortunately did not fare as well as Tom Cruise. And I wonder if it's something in that Scientology juice they give him. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think Jennifer Connelly is a bad replacement at all. In fact, she's always been eye candy, so why not? That gets me to my pops. So we are all in disagreement here today. I give Top Gun Maverick 4 pops. I'd give it 5 and I really would, just because of the entertainment. But I can't get past the fact that it is Star Wars Episode 4. It is so many films where, I mean, come on, come on. If I say it, it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. Watch the movie for yourself, folks. Figure out what you think of Top Gun Maverick. Obviously, we all enjoyed it. We're all entertained by it. I'd watch it again. Tanya would watch it again. Ben, not so much. Is that fair to say?
I could be convinced if someone I'm hanging out with wants to see it. I'm not opposed to watching it again. I'm just not going to go seek it out again.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think we've kind of covered as much as we can cover on this. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say?
Did we do like an I could have done without that? Did I miss that?
I mean, do you have an I could have done without? I kind of gave mine.
Oh, okay. I kind of do. I touched on it a little bit
okay.
In the beginning, but so commercial for Lockheed Martin.
Oh yes.
Hands down, really effing irritating. So I don't know if you guys caught this. It was very subtle, but when Tom Cruise in the beginning is doing his test flight, on the controls in one scene, like just as there's this really super majestic shot, it says Lockheed Martin. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting that would get thrown in there. And then they talked a lot about, oh my goodness, we can't go up against these 5th generation fighters, and all this kind of stuff that they really harped on throughout the film. The US has 2 5th generation fighters, the F-22 and the F-35.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes those? I don't know. Who do you think? Could it be Lockheed Martin?
Let's hope it's not Boeing.
Ew, gross. No, well, what's so funny? Well, Boeing actually, McDonnell Douglas, I think, made the F-18s, but they scooped out Boeing's brain and then destroyed the company. So now Boeing owns it, theoretically.
My grandfather worked for McDonnell Douglas, so I'm familiar with their
no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that really irritated me. Just that sort of blatant propaganda that was inserted into the film really irritated the F out of me. But I loved it. It's fine.
Hey, Patreon subscribers, we want to thank you for tuning into this special episode. This episode made just for you, sponsored by Lockheed Martin. It is something that we really feel we like to give back to you for giving to us and helping us out and helping us give you the quality entertainment. Was there anything else? Tom, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I think that's it, at least regards to the movie. And then definitely I would just kind of echo what you said. Thank you to all of our supporters who stuck with us through all of our crazy, turbulent, 2023 and beginning of 2024 that we seem to have had.
And
so thank you for your support.
Issues.
Yeah, it's fine. We have issues and we're awkward.
You're here.
It's like
you're here. Ben, did you have anything else you wanted to pop in there?
I just remembered there was one thing that was a happy surprise for me. Now, I have not yet watched any of Mad Men. So my only experience of John Hamm was in the recent Fletch movie, where John Hamm performed magnificent comedy. And I was delightfully surprised by what a fantastic, more serious actor he can be. He delivered his part in this movie. It appeared spot on to me. His seriousness, his frustration as the manager in charge of a somewhat difficult underling, and for me, he was the actor who really blew me away in this film.
Fair enough. Cool. Yeah, I liked him. I did like the commanding officers in this, and the not wanting to put up with the shenanigans of an aging, ace pilot, and his one little savior piece that he had. But not going to get into it. We're moving on, folks. We're going elsewhere. So hey, that's what we've got to say about Top Gun Maverick. Our next episode, our next full episode that's going to be coming up is on the 13th Warrior. So be ready for that. I can't wait. It's something I've been waiting to talk about for some time. And we look forward to seeing you then. Tanya, got anything else?
No. I actually think I might be too pooped to pop, Daniel.
Oh, it's a good thing you popped already. So, I guess we're off.